Running an online business is hard enough without the stress and time consumption of managing hosting. Whether managing one WordPress site or dozens, Kinsta's managed solutions offer speed, enterprise-grade security, and an intuitive dashboard. With 24/7 365 human-only expert support, get peace of mind that your sites stay online, secure, and performing their best. Start today and get your first month free with migrations handled for you. Learn more at kinsta.com/podcast. That's KINSTA.com/podcast.
Welcome to Good Morning Gwinnett with your host, Audrey Bell-Kearney, where we keep you informed, inspired, and ahead of the curve. Tune in Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Audrey dives into the latest strategies and tools to help you leverage AI to grow your local business. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a tech enthusiast, or just curious about the future of business, this is the podcast for you. Get ready to innovate, elevate, and dominate in Gwinnett County and beyond.
Good morning, all my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett land and all of my friends around the world. It is a beautiful day here in Gwinnett County. 46 degrees going up to 64. We're going to flip that thing around from 46 to 64. Yay! That's what I'm talking about. I can turn the heat off today because it's going to be nice and nice. It's going to be beautiful. And the sun is shining bright, and I'm looking forward to it. Listen, we've had some really cold days here in Georgia recently, like snow. Now I did hear that there is another storm. Right, I heard that, and I'm like, not happy about that. Hey, what can you do? You can't change Mother Nature. You remember that? Remember that thing? Remember the commercial? I'm really about to date myself. It's what is it? Don't try to fool Mother Nature. Yeah, you can't fool Mother Nature. You can't mess with Mother Nature. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. But anyway, I'm so glad to be here with you guys today. Today, I'm going to be talking about the best tools to help you create an engaging and local newsletter, content for your local newsletter. I've been doing newsletters, oh my God, since 1994 when they were just paper. You probably heard me say this before, when it was just paper. And I started out with a newsletter called Friends of Mine, and I remember getting my first subscriber for $20. It was $20 a year for a paper newsletter. It was 4 pages, which means it was 11 and a half by 17 paper, folded in half, which gave me 4 pages, front, back, front, back. And it was called Friends of Mine, and it was a newsletter for plus size women and people that loved them, because at that time I was going through my transition of, I had lost a lot of weight before I had my daughter, and then I had my daughter, and of course I gained all, well, not all of the weight, I gained a lot of the weight back. So I was going through my um figuring out myself kind of stage of my life and trying to get back to who I was. And I was like, I need friends, and I had really good friends, but for some reason I needed people who understood the plus size market and people who loved us. And I created that letter. It's called Friends of Mine. And I my first subscriber was I think he was an attorney in Bloomfield, and he paid $20. And I don't even know how he found it, because it was actually a print newsletter that I had to print out at Staples at the time and pass it out. So I must have passed it out somewhere. But newsletters are extremely powerful. And what I'm trying to, my goal with this show and moving forward with newsletters is to talk about why you need a local newsletter. And is it work? Yes, it's work. Let me just say that right out the gate. It is work. Me doing this show, having a new site. I don't have just a newsletter. I have a site that I do 4 days a week, sometimes five, and it is a lot of work. I'm not going to even front, but here's why I think it's important. I think it's important not just to talk about what's happening around town and all that kind of stuff, but it's really important because newsletters are a form of media. And more so now than ever, I feel like there should be somebody in the community who is responsible for educating their community about the things that's going on in this world, in these United States, whatever part of the world you're in, because we get so much misinformation and people are brainwashed to believe the wrong things. And the reason I say that is because we just had the most strangest election I can ever remember in my lifetime as a woman, as a grown woman. That was a very strange situation. We are living right now today in some very strange times. But here's the thing, a lot of the reasons we are here where we are is because of the media, is because people were not educated about what they were actually getting themselves into with the new administration. They weren't. So if you look back over the last few days, the entire federal government funding was shut down. people on SNAP, children, Meals on Wheels, school lunches for just shut down school lunches for children, cancer research for children, like things just shut down. And people thought they were voting for bread and eggs and milk and butter, which I'm just, but that's because they were not educated the right way. They were listening to mainstream media. They heard people on one side hating each other. They had people on the other side hating each other, and then a lot of them, a lot of the people have hate in their hearts, right? Because I sat down. It was Sunday, and I thought about the campaign that Vice President Harris ran, right? And every time she would speak about togetherness and building together. And I'm saying to myself, what who doesn't want that message? I could not for the life of me, when I woke up the morning after the election, I was in tears. And if you go back and listen today, November the 6th, listen to that episode, I was in tears on the show. Who would not want to have togetherness and prosperity and abundance for all? I just couldn't, I could not wrap my head around that. I was like, why would you vote against yourself? I couldn't figure that out. I could not. But what I later learned after I got past my sadness was that there are a lot of people with a lot of hate in their hearts. There are a lot of people who are totally uneducated about how our government system works. People who are uneducated in general, just in general across the board. There are a lot of people who are fearful because the media puts fear in their heart on both sides. So there was nobody really educating people on why they need to vote for themselves. So and then here's the thing, it was the information that you were doing yourself a disservice was dead smack in your face. And still people voted against themselves. Now they wake up today, all of the federal funding has been frozen. I heard Rick McCormick, who is down here in Georgia, say on an interview that they need to get rid of free lunch in school because kids need to go to work and get a job, and so they can understand how to make their own money to feed themselves. Okay, tell that to a 5-year old who has free lunch in school. I thought that was the most idiotic thing. I thought I had heard it all, but that was so disgusting. It just and this show is not about politics, but I have to give you the backstory on why local newsletters are so important. He said that kids need to go, and I'm paraphrasing. He said that kids need to learn how to get a job and go and make money so they can feed themselves. I'm paraphrasing. And and so the announcer said, well, some of the kids are like 8 years old. Well, some of the kids are like 5, 6, and some of the kids don't come from households where there's food on the table every night before they go to bed. So the only food, the two meals that they get are at school, breakfast and lunch, and then they go to sleep hungry. What kind of nonsense? What kind of maniac would say something like that? It's disgusting. And this is why I won't do good in politics, because I'm so emotional when it comes to this kind of disgusting stuff till it makes me sick to my stomach. And I really didn't want to talk about it, but to hear him sit there and say, and he was smiling as he said it, like he said something great. Like, bruh, yeah, we get teenagers can go to work and get a job, but what about the 6-year old, the 7-year old, the 8-year old, the 10-year old, the 9-year old, 11-year old, the 12-year old? You may be able to get a job at 13, 14. But what about all of the millions of kids that are between the ages of 5 and 14? What are they supposed to do? Go get a job? And he was smiling as if he had said something amazing. If I could have jumped through the computer, through the TV, and punched him in his throat, I probably would have. This is why I would not make a good politician, because I suck at that. Because I'm too emotional and I'm too empathetic. Because those people have no empathy. They don't care about anything but money and status. And you can see that because they shut down the freaking funding for the government. You can see that because they shut down cancer research for children. They care about nothing. They have no empathy. They have no soul. I'm like, these people are the walking demons of this earth. And evangelists, evangelicals, or whatever. If you guys co-sign to that, you are the walking demons of this earth. Because that is disgusting. Now, I'm gonna get off that because it's making me sick. Here's why local newsletters are important and why you should think about doing one. If you're listening to the sound of my voice wherever you are in this world, and you know that the media is not educating the community in which you live. And because we have to do this as a collective, if your neighbor make a stupid mistake and vote the wrong way, it affects us all. But that's because they have a lack of knowledge. And the Bible says, my people will perish for the lack of knowledge. Yeah, and they are, listen, they done F they FO, and now it's like, oh my God, well, that's what you voted for. But here's the thing, that's because you listen to the news media and all they are pushing out is hatred. We need newsletters to educate people. I'm not talking about entertaining. They got cell phones in their hands to be entertained. These newsletters that I'm telling you guys to create needs to educate your community. That's what they need to do. I get on here every day and I talk about stuff. I write on my show about stuff. I have to figure out which newsletter I'm going to start to educate my community. Good Morning Gwinnett educates them on business, technology, and money and local news. But there needs to be a governmental education newsletter put out. You need to think about doing that for your community. Now, let's talk about some steps to get that done. And somebody saying, Audrey, I don't know how to do a newsletter. Well, I'm going to tell you. And it's not as hard as you may think. And they have some wonderful tools out there right now to help you get started, even if you don't know how to write. Because here's what I would suggest you do. If you're listening to the sound of my voice, I need you to go to your government website. I need you to look for your state. I need you to look for your county and then your city or town. I need you to educate people about where you live. That's called local. When you get to the point where you're talking about your county, that's called hyper local. I don't want you to worry about what's going on in the rest of the world. I need you to, when you see a news story break, I need you to look at that story. Then I need you to go to the website and I need you to see how that affects where you live at and your family and your friends and your community. And I need you to put it in the newsletter based on your understanding. And here's the thing, if you don't understand, there is a tool called ChatGPT. There is a tool called Claude. There is a tool called Gemini. There is a tool called Operator. There is a tool called DeepSeek. Use the tools and tell the tool, I need you to analyze this for me and break it down so that a fifth grader can understand it. Did you hear what I just said? I'm going to say it again because I know somebody missed it. When there is a headline, like we see the federal government shutting down and people are just going berserk because food stamps are being cut off, you know, Medicare, Medicaid, school lunch, wheels on just veteran services, just shut. Listen, someone told me last night, she's a nurse. She said, my friend got a job at the VA. She said they offered her the job. She accepted the job. They called the day when they shut it down, so we had to rescind the offer. At the VA, the Veterans Administration, the VA hospital. She's a nurse. Lord knows we have a shortage of nurses. Why would you? So they couldn't hire her because it was shut down because all government funding was shut down. All okay. So what I need you to do is when you see a news story, instead of going to Fox News, instead of going to MSNBC, anybody, I need you, listen to the sound of my voice. I need you to look at that story, copy the link, go to ChatGPT and say, analyze this and break it down so that a fifth grader can understand it. Then I need you to say to ChatGPT, how does this affect people living in Lawrenceville, Georgia, wherever you are? Wherever you are, how does this affect people living in your city, your state, your county, your community? How does it affect us? And ChatGPT is going to give you an answer. And you're going to take that answer and you're going to put it into a newsletter and you're going to send it out to you're going to publish the newsletter. You're going to paste it on Facebook because I know y'all got a Facebook page. You're going to paste the link on Instagram. As a matter of fact, you can go to LinkedIn. Listen to what I'm telling you. You can literally go to LinkedIn and start a free newsletter. You don't have to pay a dime about your hyperlocal community. And then tag all of the government officials and follow them so they can follow your newsletter. It's free. It is free. And you're going to put your newsletter out so you can educate your community based on that what's happening, what does it really mean to you and I, because now you're educating your community. I'm going to give you some other tools that's going to help you even more. So I'm going to go to a song. I'll be right back after the song because you know that stuff I'm passionate about that because it gets on my nerve. I'm going to go to a song. I'll be back. I'm going to talk about a couple more tools, and then you can decide which one is going to work better for you. Stay tuned.
We're stepping up, we're breaking through, building dreams, making moves, yeah, we got the groove. No looking back, the time is now, lighting up the world, let's show them how. Rise up, hands high, feel the energy ignite, together we shine, yeah, we're burning bright. Innovation in our veins, we create, we elevate, a brand new world we cultivate. Trailblazers unite, with the fire, with the light, starting something new, making wrongs turn right. We are the change, we lead the way, a better tomorrow starts today. Trailblazers unite, hands up, let's ride, we're changing lives, no fear we fight. Trailblazers unite. From the streets to the sky, every voice, every sound, we're lifting each other, we're breaking the bounds. No limit, no fear, just a vision so clear. We push it forward, the future is here. Rise up, hands high, feel the energy ignite. Together we shine, yeah, we're burning bright. Innovation in our veins, we create, we elevate. A brand new world we cultivate. Trailblazers unite, with a fire, with a light, starting something new, making wrongs turn right. We are the change, we lead the way, a better tomorrow starts today. Trailblazers unite. If you dream it, believe it, we can achieve it. Together we rise, we don't ever need it. Permission to start, permission to lead. We plant the seeds and let them be free. Trailblazers unite, with a fire, with a light, starting something new, making wrongs turn right. We are the change, we lead the way, a better tomorrow starts today. Hands up, let's ride, we're changing lives, no fear we fight. Trailblazers unite.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show. I'm your host, Audrey Bell-Kearney. Today I'm talking about the importance of local newsletters and how you can start one.
89% of business leaders say AI is a top priority. The right choice is crucial, which is why teams at 1/3 of Fortune 500 companies use Grammarly. Grammarly is the right AI assistant for your team. With top-tier security credentials and 15 years of experience in responsible AI, Grammarly is how companies like yours increase productivity while keeping data protected and private. See why 70,000 teams trust Grammarly at grammarly.com/enterprise.
Running an online business requires passion, knowledge, and a lot of dedication. Adding the complexities of setting up and managing hosting for your website piles on more work when you already have so many plates spinning. Whether you manage one WordPress website or dozens, Kinsta's managed solutions give you access to a platform that's optimized for the fastest speed, has enterprise-grade security features, and is powered by an intuitive custom dashboard with everything you need to manage your sites efficiently. Plus, Kinsta provides human-only WordPress expert support, which is available 24/7, 365 to assist with even the most complex sites. Forget frustrating AI chatbots. Kinsta gives you complete peace of mind by ensuring that your WordPress sites are always online, secure, and performing at their best. Start your journey with Kinsta today and get your first month free. Don't have time to migrate your site? Kinsta takes care of everything for you. Learn more at kinsta.com/podcast. That's KINSTA.com/podcast.
So newsletters are really important, y'all, because you control the narrative. But the newsletters that I'm telling you to start is not just newsletters where you talk about events and all that kind of stuff. These are educational newsletters for your community. And this is important because you people need to understand what's happening around them so they can understand how to protect themselves against the things that are detrimental to them and their families and their communities. So one of the places you can launch a newsletter for free is on LinkedIn. You can make your newsletter. Let's say, for instance, you lived in, I don't know, Douglasville. You can call your newsletter the Douglasville Voice, right? And your newsletter is explaining to the Douglasville community about the things that is important to them and how those things affect them as it pertains to our local governments and our federal governments. So people can understand, because if they understand, they make better decisions. See, when you know better, you're supposed to do better. Let me say that again. When you know better, you're supposed to do better. Now, there are people who know better who just don't have do better in them. They just don't. They do wrong all the time. They just don't have a do better bone in their bodies. They just don't. But there are other people who want to do better, but they're blinded by nonsense, so they can't do better because the nonsense they think is the truth, and it's not. Now they're finding out that, oh my effing God, my life is about to fall apart because they are suspending the things that are important to me and my family to survive. To survive. If you live in rural Georgia, rural Washington, rural New York, and yes, there is a such thing as rural New York. It is rural. I've been there. The Catskills is beautiful, but it's rural. If you live places like that where there's no huge metropolitan area where jobs are being created, you're kind of living off the land. And if you don't understand like how these rules affect you, you will put yourself in a world of trouble. That is why it is important for newsletters and podcasts. These things, people used to just think podcast, oh, it's just a thing. No, it is a media outlet to educate people, to inspire, to empower, to entertain. But right now, we need education. Yep, education is what we need. Yes, we got 3.2 million podcasts. We had 5 million. I don't know what happened to it. 3.2 million podcasts, and out of that, 250,000 are actually active, which means they're producing at least one episode a week, right? We need you to be the voice of your community. So, how can you do that? You can do it with newsletters. Let me talk about Beehive because Beehive is a great platform. So, no, well, let me back up. I'm going to talk about LinkedIn first because it's free. So, LinkedIn is free, right? If you went there and you got a LinkedIn account, you can follow millions and millions of people. You can find people in your community to follow them. You can advertise to them. You can promote your newsletter to them, and it's free, right? But you don't own the platform. So you kind of have to be careful about what you put on people's platform that you don't own. You got to be careful about that. If you're not putting on hate material and you're truly just educating your people, that's a good thing. Now, that being said, are your people on LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn is what people go to look for jobs and business opportunities and all that kind of stuff. They may be on Facebook. If they're on Facebook, you can probably use something like a Facebook group or a Facebook note or something. I still say you don't own that platform. So when Facebook say you violating policy, they can shut you down. But they are free. They are free platforms with billions of people on them. So that may be a good place to start. I personally, if I were you, I would start with the platform called Beehive. And here's why. Beehive is a great platform. Not only is it a great platform, if you pay the $39 a month, when you pay that $39, you're able to, is it 39? It may be 59, maybe 59. But anyway, it may be a $59 investment. When you pay that money for your Beehive account, when you create the newsletter in Beehive, and Beehive is a newsletter platform built by a guy who made millions in the newsletter. I'm talking about double-digit millions, like 20 millions or more in the newsletter industry. It is a platform that will allow you to create the newsletter. So let me give you the rundown. You're gonna find out what's going on by what's going on in headlines, right? Then you're gonna take the link to that article, you're gonna drop it in ChatGPT. You're gonna tell ChatGPT, analyze this article for me, rewrite it as a news link post article so that a fifth grader can understand it. Because it needs to be that simple. Because somebody didn't get past fifth grade. So you need to tell it to write it in a fifth grade that a fifth grade can read it. And you, in that same article, you need to also say create bullet points about how this affect me and my community, and you put in your town, your county, and your state. How does this affect the people living in my community? Because what ChatGPT is going to do, it is going to go pull that information for you. It's going to write that article. It's going to put in the information you asked for, and then you take that and you go to a Beehive and you copy and paste it into a new post, and now it's a newsletter. You put at least one person in your database until you can build it up. So now it's going to go out to that one person, and then you tell them to share it. Now, if you got the $59 plan, there is a button inside a Beehive that will let you click that button and turn that into an audio. So people who cannot read it can click the audio in the newsletter and hear the newsletter. You can also take that audio and download it. Listen to what I'm telling you. You have a spoken word. You can download the audio, go to a platform like a Spreaker or a Buzzsprout or Riverside and start a podcast. Because the audio that's inside of the newsletter is so good, you can put it on a podcast platform, and now you got a podcast. One article, two pieces of news for your community. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand how important this is? You could be in Snellville. You could be the Snellville voice. That could be the name of your podcast, the Snellville Voice. And you don't have to do a whole lot of work. You have to do some, but not a whole lot, because we got amazing AI tools like a ChatGPT that will analyze an article, that will rewrite the article into a podcast, into an article for your newsletter, that then you take and drop it into a Beehive, which has AI built in, that's going to now take that newsletter. You're going to hit a button. It's going to turn into audio. You're going to download the audio. You're going to put in your images and your graphic, and then you're going to send the newsletter out to people on your newsletter list. And you're going to tell all your family and friends, I just started a local newsletter. I need you guys to subscribe to it and share it with 5 of your friends so it'll grow. It's about your community. It's about your community. It is important because you have to educate people. And when you find out what it's about, you go to the government website or say, let's see, how does this affect me? How does this government thing affect me on a local level, for my jobs, for my kids' school, for our health care, for our welfare, for our medical care? How does this affect us? And you put it in the newsletter, because here's the thing. Nobody's doing it. They're not doing it. They're looking at TV, listening to nonsense, and then when they FAFO, and then now it's like, oh my God, what are they doing? Well, they told you they was going to do these things. They told you that. But you wasn't listening to that because your heart was filled with hate. It was filled with racism. All of the nonsense that's put you in the same place. You're trying to hurt one person. Listen, they tell you, listen, you trying to throw rocks at my glass house, and your glass house is broken. I'm just telling the truth. Stop throwing rocks at people's glass houses when you live in one of your own self. We all live in glass houses. Every effing one of us live in a glass house in the United States, except for the people that live behind the walls. And they're the ones making these decisions that affect the 99% of the rest of us. And now you want to cry on TikTok and just the stupid stuff. Stop. If you have been injured by this new administration already, start a hyperlocal newsletter to educate your community. So some tools. Beehive is a tool that you can use. That's BEEHIIV, Beehive. You can use ChatGPT, of course. You can use a tool called SEO writing.ai. I talked about that yesterday. That's a great tool. It's going to write the article for you and put in the images to go with it. Canva is amazing right now. It's doing all kinds of things. You can create some beautiful newsletter in Canva. Adobe Firefly is another great tool. If you want visually appealing content, you can use all of these tools. And listen, I got a whole entire article on the website. The whole article. You can go back to Good Morning Gwinnett after the show and go look at the website. The whole article is there. But I had to talk about the importance of why newsletters are so important. That's what I really had to talk about. So, yeah, they're important. All right. I'm going to go to my last song, and then I'm going to come back and give you my closing, inspirational, motivational, empowerment closing for today. So stay tuned. I'll be right back.
I see the world try to break it down, heavy burdens lost in the crowd. But baby, don't you lose your way. I know your strength, I know your grace. When the night feels cold and lonely, when your heart is filled with doubt, I'll be standing right beside you. You don't have to figure it out. I'll hold the light when you can't see. Just hold on tight. Every tear that falls, I see. Every scar tells your legacy. You're made of fire, you're made of gold. Even when it hurts, your story's bold. When the weight feels way too heavy, when the road don't feel so sure, lean on me, I'll be steady. You ain't gotta walk alone no more. I'll hold the light when you can't see. Through every storm, you can count on me. I lift you up, I won't let go. You don't have to fight this on your own. I'll hold the light. Just hold on tight. Try to dim what shines in you, but you were born to rise above, and I'll be here with all my love. I'll hold the light when you can't see. Through every storm, you can count on me. I lift you up, I won't let go. You don't have to fight this on your own. I'll hold the light. Just hold on tight. I'll hold the light for you, for us, for love. Mm-hmm.
89% of business leaders say AI is a top priority. The right choice is crucial, which is why teams at 1/3 of Fortune 500 companies use Grammarly. Grammarly is the right AI assistant for your team. With top-tier security credentials and 15 years of experience in responsible AI, Grammarly is how companies like yours increase productivity while keeping data protected and private. See why 70,000 teams trust Grammarly at grammarly.com/enterprise.
This time of year, a good hoodie is absolutely essential, and the American Giant Classic Full Zip Hoodie is made to last a lifetime. With timeless style, heavyweight fleece, and durable details, you can depend on it for years to come. Snag the hoodie that will bring you comfort for life, the American Giant Classic Full Zip, and save 20% off your first order at american-giant.com when you use code CLASSIC24 at checkout. That's 20% off your first order at american-giant.com, code CLASSIC24.
I'll hold the light. Listen, that song is amazing. I need you to hold the light, y'all. I need you to say, you know what? We all got to get together collectively to save the United States of America because we are going to crumble if we don't. We all have to be light holders for each other. We do. I'm getting chills as I say this. It's crazy. We all have to be light holders for each other. We all have to be light holders for our future. We all have to hold that light. You have to start where you are. Start with LinkedIn if that's what you got to do. Start with TikTok, wherever you got to start. But you got to educate people because people are where they are because they're not educated about our governmental system. They see is like the darkness. Some people are going to see darkness no matter what you do. But I believe that if you show people what's really happening, they become the person that, oh, I can make this change. I can change for the better. I can help my family. Because right now, false dream they were. And now they're finding out that that was a false dream. When you look at, think about this for 1 second. And I've said this before, and I know this is never going to happen, but just think about this for 1 second. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. Before the presidential election, he was worth 270 something $billion with a B. There are 8 billion people on the planet. If he gave each one of us $1 billion, he would still be the richest man in. Now he's worth $400 billion. If he gave each one of us $2 billion, he would still be the richest man in the entire world. Why are we suffering? Why are we trying to make people's lives miserable when we got somebody who could freaking get the whole world out of debt? Now, will that help everybody? No, it won't. It won't. And I'm not even suggesting. I'm just trying to give you a narrative about where we are and who sits at the top of at the top of our government. They have all the money in the world. And here they are creating havoc that's going to be detrimental to you and your family. You know, Kamala I thought she had a strong message, but that's because I'm a person of empathy, right? The people that voted for her voted for various reasons, but I would bet that most of them had a lot of empathy. The people that didn't, they had racism in their heart. They had fear in their hearts. And they would say, I'm not racist. Why wouldn't you vote for her? You voted against yourself. Now you're finding out. We have to educate our community. Use newsletters and platforms to help your community understand what it means when they go to the polls. Understand what it means right down to healthcare. Oh, we want to get rid of Obamacare. Well, what kind of healthcare you got? I got the Affordable Care Act. Well, that's Obamacare, sir. Saying we're saying if you get rid of Obamacare, we're gonna get rid of your health plan. I didn't know that. I know you didn't. I know you didn't. This is what I'm saying. People, but you're voting against Obama, not the health care, Obama. Because you don't understand the health system. We know that because you was about to vote yourself out, which you did anyway, voting against Obamacare. It was a name that they put on it, which is really was the affordable health care. But because you hate Obama, because they're black, you voted against yourself and you didn't even know it. And he created something that was good for you, but you didn't know it. We have to stop. We have to stop looking at the news outlets that are not helping us. Stop with the nonsense because now you're suffering. Now people are running scared. Oh my God, my kid, I don't have no money. I'm a single parent. I'm already working 3 jobs to pay the rent. The rent is high. My kids go to school. I know they go eat breakfast and lunch. But here go Rick McCormick over here saying, hey, get rid of it. They should go get a job. Well, they're 5, sir. They're 5, they're 8, 9, 10. They're like, where they gonna work at? So I'm done. I hope you start a newsletter, and if you do, please share it with us so we can share it. Please do. Hey, listen, thank you for listening. I know I was on a rant today, but I felt like this was an important message. You could have been anywhere in the world. You spent the last 34 minutes with me, and I love and appreciate you for that. If you missed any episodes of the show, be sure to go to goodmorninggwinnett.com to listen to past episodes and share this episode with your community because this is a powerful episode because y'all need to start taking control of your own media, your own education, and your own community. Because the false narrative that you've been sold has gotten us all where we are today. All right. I'll be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m. God willing. You guys stay safe out there. And until next time, my friends, until next time, make it a great day. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to Good Morning Gwinnett, where we bring AI innovation to the heart of your local business. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to support the show for only $5.99 a month. Just click the support link in the show notes. Your contribution helps keep this show running and your business growing. Missed an episode or want to catch up on local news? Visit us anytime at goodmorninggwinnett.com. Until next time, stay innovative on your grind.